Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for coming. This just sucks, doesn't it? It's just the worst thing ever. When I was first asked if I wanted to read anything tonight, first thought was no, I don't. Because all I could think in the hours and days after his death was how much this sucks. What a horrible place this world is. It's a senseless, cruel, unfeeling place. I knew everyone else who was grieving at his passing was singing the same thing. This sucks. It didn't seem like there was anything else worth saying. When heading home the other day, I saw a sunset. It wasn't as beautiful as before. It wasn't as magnificent. The world's a darker place without him here. I began remembering the times that we spent together in my car, the windows down, music playing, and it'll never be the same. I think about the stories that he used to write. He loved to write stories all the time. He asked me to read them and proofread them for him. Sometimes I would, and sometimes I would just blow them off, tell him I had other things I needed to do. Eventually, he just stopped sending them to me. Over the years, I played more video games with Dalton than I could probably ever count. I don't think I could ever watch Star Wars again without thinking about him. He was always good at what he loved to do. Magic tricks, video games. In 2004, I started practicing a sport called parkour, which involves climbing walls and jumping off of them again. I passed on my experience to Dalton, and almost immediately he began trying to outdo me. It became a competition. He climbed higher and leaped further, all without fear. He was good. And he passed me by pretty quickly, but I never really told him. I used to take life pretty seriously, actually. I would argue about little things that didn't matter. I took my schoolwork seriously. I took my work too seriously. I took life too seriously. It was Dalton who showed me in the end. He pursued friends, places, and books with little thoughts of whether or not they helped him out in the long run. He played video games and fell in love. Wrote stories, all without wondering where he was going to be in 5 years. Dalton lived like he ate food, quickly, joyfully, and without a master plan. So, while this entire thing still sucks, there is something lovely, even hopeful, in remembering that a good life is not defined by degrees or income or a solid 10-year outline, but by taking daily pleasure in what's already there in front of you. I never thought I'd say this, but Dalton, May, my beautiful baby brother, you were right. At the end of the day, you are loved by a ridiculous number of people. And not one of us cares that you can't do algebra. I'm just very sorry that I never told you any of this while you were alive.
Bear with me. This is really hard. I didn't really write anything before this, and I knew if I didn't write it down, I wasn't going to remember it. I'd be standing up here bawling like a baby, and nobody would be able to understand what I was saying. So, here goes. On Tuesday morning when I woke up, I expected it to be a normal day. With my normal friends, my normal family, my normal life. I never expected that it would end up being the worst day of my life. I finally dragged myself out of bed after snoozing my alarm clock like 10 times. I got dressed and I did my hair and my makeup and I brushed my teeth and I went to school like I did every day. I went through my day like I normally would, and about halfway through my second lunch shift, Mrs. Summer just buzzed in and asked me to come to the office. And everybody joined in the unison, "Ooh, Sammy, you're in trouble." And I just laughed, because none of us really knew what kind of trouble it was really in. On my way home, I was so worried. I didn't know what was going on. I had a million things going through my mind, just wondering what could have happened. I thought maybe my mom had gotten into an accident, or my dad's a plumber, maybe he dropped something on himself and was hurt. Maybe even my grandparents had fallen down and hurt themselves. My little brother was the last thing I expected anybody to talk about that day. When I walked into my house, I felt that my life was about to change. My dad had trouble even talking to us. He sat there for probably 10 minutes not saying a word. And when he finally, all right guys,
We want y'all to hear this. We want everybody back there to be able to hear what's going on up here.
can everybody hear me? Okay. Every word my dad said changed the story in my head. Every word that came out of his mouth, he said your mom, and then he said there was an accident, and then he said gun, and then he said brother. And nothing that I had pictured in my head was as bad as what had finally come out of my dad's mouth. And we all found ourselves sobbing on the couch for an hour, non-stop. The hardest I've ever cried in my life. I never knew that last Friday was going to be the last time I saw my baby brother. I never knew that the last words I would say to my little brother were, "Shut up, Dalton, your hair looks stupid." And I never knew the last word he would say to me is, "That's a tiny pumpkin, Sam. Trying to compensate for something?" I never thought I would be standing in this church in front of all of you people saying, Dalton was, Dalton did, not Dalton is, and Dalton does. Since Tuesday, I haven't been able to focus on anything. I've just been doing my best to even let it sink in. I still don't even know what's happening. I can only think about who he was and all the memories we had and the fun things that we did. I remember being his best friend and at times his worst enemy. Dalton and I went through a lot. We loved each other a lot. And we didn't like each other a lot. I haven't stopped thinking about his stuffed monkey, the leather jacket that he used to carry around. Monk. I'll always remember that. I haven't stopped remembering the time he had a goldfish sticking out of his mouth, and I punched it, and he bled, and we laughed until I cried, and until he stopped crying. And I relived so many arguments that we had that we never said we were sorry for. And we agreed to take this to the grave, Mom. And now he has. The time that Brett McNabb and I, found the keys to my mom's car in the kitchen, and we snuck outside about 2 summers ago, and we took the car home. And I was 15, and Brett didn't have his license. None of us knew what we were doing. I had driven a lot to and from Marshall, but I had not without my mom. We even bribed Jordan not to tell Mom. We bought her candy. There were so many things that Dalton and I did together, and I'm never going to forget, ever. And I just keep reliving all of these times, and I wonder, why? Why can't I still have my baby brother? Why did he have to leave us? Why don't I have anybody to blame it on? And the only answer I could come up with is that Dalton was so unhappy, and this is the only thing he could do. He's so much happier now. And I can't feel sorry for him now because I know that he's happy now. I know that he sees every tear in this crowd right now. And I know that he hears everything we're standing up here and saying. And I know that he remembers. And I know that he regrets what he did. I know if he could see this now, he wouldn't do it. I know that none of us could have stopped him, and no one was to blame for what happened.
scream. And I know, even if I did, it wouldn't be any better. The only thing that keeps me from doing that and screaming and crying, well, not crying, because nothing's going to stop that, but I know that he's better. Nothing's hurting him anymore. He's okay. All of his questions are answered. And through this, good things are going to happen. I know good things are going to happen. People are going to be changed. I'm already changed. It was 5 days ago. We are all completely different. And the only... I love my little brother. I always have. And I always will. And the only regret I have in my life is that I couldn't make him truly believe that I did.